Hello, it's Bishop Mark. Today is Luke chapter 12, verses 54 to 59. So we're going to finish chapter 12 today together. Obviously, I'm not in the same spot. I'm in San Diego at a conference, a meeting of bishops. And so I happen to be one. So I'm here at the conference. And today, Jesus gives us two separate sections about urgency. Do you know that word? Urgency. To be urgent means you need to act quickly. Something is very serious, and therefore we need to get right to it. We need to get right to work. We can't be lazy, can't be waiting. And Jesus wants us to have an urgent relationship with our soul and our salvation. In other words, we want to get to heaven. And Jesus doesn't like us to be lazy spiritually. And he says to us that we're lazy. We're smart. We're created smart people. We know what's going on, but we don't act as if we do. Well, let's do the first one. The first one is about the signs of the times, the seasons, the weather. You know, people in that day were very attuned, very much, they knew the weather. Where I'm from, New England, the weather changes a lot. So we don't really know the weather. But in those places, the weather doesn't change that much. And so there are certain signs that happen all the time. So Jesus mentions two of them. Here we go. He also said to the crowds, "When you see a cloud rising in the west, you say immediately that it's going to rain." And so it does. Okay, so we're looking at a map, right? And it's on the east end of the Mediterranean Sea. Remember, we saw the map, and we know that the Holy Land, where Jesus was, is on the right side, looking at a map, so the east side. So if people see a cloud rising in the west, it's coming over the sea, and therefore it's going to rain. And it's very consistent, of course, to this day. You see clouds coming from the west, it's going to rain. That's just how it is. Okay, the second one. And when you notice that the wind is blowing from the south, you say it's going to be hot. And so it is. So south of the Holy Land is the desert. And when the wind comes up, often the wind contains sand in it. And when it's really blowing from the south, they get sand all over the place. And obviously, the weather coming from the south is going to be hot because it's hotter in the south than the desert. So, Jesus says, these things are obvious signs, and you react to them. When you know it's going to rain, you react to that. When you know it's going to be hot, you react to that. But, says Jesus, you hypocrites, you know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and the sky. Why do you not know how to interpret the present time? So, Jesus is telling us, we know how to interpret what's going on with God. The kingdom of God is here. Jesus is the Messiah. He was bringing the kingdom of God. He's done all the miracles. He's done the teaching. He's clearly the Messiah, and yet there's people that deny it. All the signs in the Bible, from the John the Baptist to all the things in the Bible that the Jewish people were looking for, they're all fulfilled in him. And yet, they say, nah, maybe not. It's as obvious as the cloud over the west and the wind from the south. But they're not seeing it. Well, Jesus thinks there should be an urgency to what we do in our relationship with God. Okay, let's look at the second half. Why do you not judge for yourselves what is right? If you are to go with your opponent before the magistrate, make an effort to settle the matter on the way. Otherwise, your opponent will turn you over to the judge, and the judge hand you over to the constable, and the constable throw you into prison. I say you will not be released until you have paid the last penny. What does that mean? The importance of turning to God and living good and holy lives is all that it's about. And yet, we continue to live sinful lives. When we die, we're all going to be judged, whether we're good or bad. We all are going to see the face of God and know our guilt if we're guilty. So Jesus is saying, like a guy with a bad case, you're going to lose in the judge. The best thing to do if you're going to lose, just be practical, is to settle with the guy before you get to the judge, because the judge is going to throw you in prison. Much better to settle the case. Well, settle with God. Turn your life around. Be urgent in doing that. You have the time now to change your life. Right now, you can change your life. But we don't. We continue to sin. The signs of the times are obvious. Our guilt is obvious. But we don't live with an urgency for our soul. And Jesus wants us to live with an urgency for our soul. Okay, that's what these two little paragraphs are about. We'll see you next time. Peace.